Hey there, and welcome to Flourish TV. Have you ever looked at carousels or wondered what carousels were? Not the carousel that you ride at the amusement park, but a carousel for Instagram. And I would love to be able to teach you what it is, how to use it, and also how to create them inside Canva. I want to welcome you to Flourish TV. My name is Stephanie Book, and this is where I share business with a little bit of mindset. And today I thought I would talk about carousels. I recently read an article. I've been receiving an article that's telling me about some of the trends and different things on social media. And one of the things was saying that carousels are very hot right now. Those are something that you want to create. So you're like, what is a carousel? Well, a carousel is basically a series of static posts or just of pictures or images or graphics that you put together in a line. And so on Facebook, you don't see them as much. You'll see sometimes carousels being used repurposed here, but it's not the same because in Facebook, you don't get to scroll from and go from left to right and go through all of the slides to have the full story completed. But on Instagram, it will show that and it will have like a main picture in the front, but then as you scroll, you'll be able to see more and more content as you go. And so a lot of times we don't use these on Facebook because it's different, but you can, and you can choose the type of format, the template and the way that you want the images to show up so that you can see a lot of them. And I'm not sure if I'll show you that today. Maybe if I decide to post it, then I'll show you. But I thought what I would do is go into Canva and show you how to create a carousel post, and it'll show you what it looks like just in case you don't even know. So I'm going to share my screen here. This is a picture of a carousel post that I started putting together yesterday. And so this is one that I'm going to be posting later on, and I'll make it a little bit bigger. So what you can see here is a series of different images that give you some information. So what happens when you put this on Instagram, what it does is it allows the person that you are trying to reach or the information that you're trying to share, what it does is it allows that person to stay on your profile longer. What this does then is it allows Instagram to be like, people seem to like this post, and so it might share that post more. Or it also gives you a chance for people often will save these posts because there's a lot of information in there. And so a lot of times you'll see a post that's very helpful like this, where it has all this different information. You're like, oh, I want to make sure I remember this later. I'm not worried about what vegetables I'm eating right now, but later I need to know what low glycemic vegetables I want, so to make sure that I'm eating healthy and reaching my goals. And so the person would look at this and they would save it on Instagram so that they would have a chance to look at it later. And then what this does is, again, it tells Instagram, they really like this post. I want to make sure I show it more, or let me show more of Stephanie's posts or your posts, because people have stopped and looked at the different things that you have provided and the information that you have helped them with. And so this is why we do carousels, because it allows that you to be seen a little bit more, and that information is very helpful. So you're giving information that's helpful to the people that you're trying to reach, but then it also keeps them connected to you a little bit longer. And it also attracts them to want to follow you or want to see more of your things or scroll down farther down into your profile because they're like, oh, this is really helpful. What else could I learn from her? And so that's why we would use the carousel posts. And so I thought I would show you this one. Now, this was from a template that I did. And there's a couple different things that I like. I'll point out with this, and then I'll walk you through one. I probably won't go finish all of it, but I will show you how simple it is to take a template and start creating your own once you have the information that you want to create. And so here, what I do is I have this carousel that I started, and I used a template. And one of the things I want to show you, this is really fun. In some of the different templates that Canva has, there has a place here where this picture and this picture connect together. And so let me see if I show you this way, you can kind of see how when you're scrolling through, I I don't know what happened to this picture. It was there earlier. So obviously I need to make some edits before this happens. So here, but you can see this one goes right into this one. And then you have this image and it should go into this one. And then this one should go into this one. So that didn't work out very well to show you, but let me see. So if I would have put this one here, it looks like I got them backwards. Let me move this one out of here. You can move these out of here in different orders too. So you can kind of see, it gives you that idea. Now, obviously I must have missed a mistake there, but you can get the idea, and it looks kind of neat how you have part of the picture into the next page. And so that's kind of a neat way that you can do it. So, but there's lots of different templates and different things you can use. So usually what I go to, I'll just, I'll create them my own sometimes, but it's really nice to have a template. Usually I end up changing all the colors and changing the fonts to have it match what I want. But you can just put carousel post in Canva and it will give you all of these different kinds of options. Some of them will do them square, or the more of this longer style, which has been a little bit more in what Instagram is preferring right now, I guess. And so that gives you an idea. I'm trying to find another template that has an image like that. Let me see. This one, yep, that one does that a little bit, but you can see sometimes they have ones that bring the picture into the next picture, since mine wasn't perfectly in the right order, but you get the idea. So there's all different, you can see there's like templates after templates of different kinds, and you can even put more specific things in. If you're like, oh, I want a health template, or I want, specific colors. Sometimes I'll do that because I usually use pink. The vegetable one, I went with green because it's vegetables and it just made sense. But, most of the time I will be looking for something that was pink. And so that gives you an idea of all the different templates that you can use, that you can create these carousels. And it makes very simple to go in, plug in your own images, your information, and be able to provide great, helpful tips and tricks and all the different things for the clients that you're trying to serve or you're trying to help. I mean, you'll see carousel posts, people, sometimes you're on vacation. That's a great way too. You can just share a bunch of pictures and have, share a little bit of what's gone on in your life. So you can kind of see this one. If you can see the screen, it's kind of scrolling through and the blue and the circles kind of go together. So there's lots of different ways you can get really fancy or you can get really simple. So I thought I would just start with a simple one here. It just kind of gives the basics here because I'm trying to show you quickly what to do, but I could show you a little bit different too as well. So a couple things you can do. I thought I had a carousel I want to put together about using Trello, because if you follow me, you know Trello is amazing. And so I went ahead and I had Canva make some images for me. I could just take a picture of my Trello board, so I might decide to do that as well. But I thought, well, let's use this one. And so I'm going to take out this picture because then it's already showing what I want it to show. And then I can, I might fade it up a little bit more just so it looks kind of dark. And a couple things that I noticed with this is if you go over, this is a trick I've learned. If you go to layers, sometimes you'll see there isn't something back here, but there's a dark color behind here. This tells me that there's a black background behind there. So if I don't want this to be so dark, I would change that. And you can see how differently that changes. Now it did be able to show the letters better. So I could go through and undo this and bring it back that way so that it stands out more. So you can kind of play with this. So then it's just really simple. You can go in and add all your information. So let's say this is structured. This has the information that I need in there already. One of the things you can do to change a template really quickly is you can go in here and you can then pick the colors of your brand, or you can pick the colors of the photo so you want it to match. So these are similar to my brand colors. Usually I go towards the brand colors, but for this instance, maybe we'll play around with these colors. It looks like this is at a transparency level. And so maybe I'm like, ooh, that's too purple. And so maybe I want to grow that transparency a little bit more. I don't love that color, so let me go back to here. Let's do this one. Let's go back to this color. And then one thing you can do, like it happens when you do this and you want to change it to the pink color. If you do this from the beginning, you'll hit this and you can hit this button, change all, and it will change all of those to that color. Now you might need to adjust like the transparency and things like that. So there's some details that you want to pay attention to. Like we put this transparency at 47. So we'll go through and quickly do that as well because we want it to match. We want it to look good. So you can go through quickly and do that. But then you can also go in here and say, okay, this maybe this doesn't, this is not one of my fonts. And so then you can either go to your brand kit that you designed. If you've not created a brand kit, put brand in the comments and I can send you my Flourish TV that I talked about how to create your own brand kit inside Canva. So you go here, you can choose your different fonts and different things inside your brand kit. Mine are already loaded in here. So maybe, but I think I want to use, let me go up here. I would like to go down to my brand kit ones and maybe I'll use this one and then I can hit change all and whoops, it changed even that one. So we're going to undo. Sometimes it changes all of them and sometimes it doesn't. So we might need to go through and change them this way. So there's sometimes Canva works out well for you and sometimes it makes it more difficult like this one. So because this is the same font as this one. So that's why it's pulling that there. So if, so it really just kind of depends on what's happening there. So you can adjust these and change these around so it fits, obviously. Now it looks like this is kind of a darker color. It's not really a black, and I think I'd prefer the black. It's this color, so I can go here and here. This will change all, and it will change all the black in this specific that's that specific color in that font. So here's another one. This would be an example here. Maybe I want to change this wording. Let's say this is, I like to get some of this stuff done before I put in my actual information because then it's very simple to just kind of plug and play and put everything in there. So maybe I want to use this font and so I can hit change all and then it will go through and change all of these to that specific one. It just didn't work for this one because this one here has the same font as this one. And so sometimes it doesn't work, but other times you can see with the other part that it does. And so basically, that makes it very simple. You can see once you have this set in place, then you can start adding in your own information. Some of the things you want to make sure that you pay attention to is, some of these extra details that are in here. You might want to change what these are because obviously mine is going to be Trello. So I'm going to change this to Trello. How to utilize Trello. I don't remember what I was going to call it here. Let me see. To stay clear and consistent is what I was going to do. So to stay clear and consistent. So you can see it even changed this font here. And I can keep this, business tips for coaches, that works. So I can leave that there. And then here you want to make sure that you're putting your actual name so that you can be identified that you are the author of this. And I usually use a specific font for this. And again, those are all loaded in here. So I come here and I can change all. So it will, no, we can't do that because that's the same. So we're going to just change this one and I'm going to change the size. And this is what I will do in this instance, because sometimes it doesn't, again, let you, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Okay. So, there's all these different things that I would change. So this is really what I want it to look like. So then I would come in, I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to come through on each time that you see up here. Here's the site thing. We're going to paste, and it's going to put it there, and it's not doing what I want it to do either. Paste and whatnot. So you can get the idea. So then you want to make sure that you're doing all those things. What I like to do is get all of those details done first, because then you have those in and they're already ready to go, so that when you start plugging and playing your other information, it's taken care of. So I know that I want to change these to the other font, so I can go in and do that. And usually it comes up there. I'm not going to hit change all because it's going to change all of these. So Sometimes we have to do a little bit more work, but again, it's not taking too long, and you're going to be able to get that same idea. And a couple other things to make sure is you're paying attention to, just to make sure your designs look really good, is making sure that, I changed the size of this font and the look of this font. So I wanted to make sure it still fit within this oval. So you want to make sure that you are centering things, because a lot of times here, this one is a little bit bigger. So we're going to need, I don't know what the title is, but if this was a specific title for this page, I might need to alter the size a little bit, or maybe I need to make a little more space, and making sure it's lined up. So basically now all I would do, now that most of this stuff is ready to go, I would just go in now and plug in my own information about Trello. And so I will work on that eventually. But then that gives you an idea. This was very, very simple. But then what you'll do is you'll have this great eye-catching carousel that you can put in, and it will post on Instagram. You can put a great caption, a call to action on there, and it's going to help people learn something, stay connected with you, want to follow you more, and you'll be able to have high quality information. So instead of maybe posting one picture and then a big long description, we do that a lot on Facebook because that works a lot of times for people just to read through it. This is a fun way, an eye-catching way for you to do that. Now you could do a graphic and put it all together and put all the information in one graphic, but I've learned that it takes a lot of time to do that. So I might just take the first page and use that as my image and then post the information in Facebook. Or I will put the whole carousel posts in Facebook and just make sure that the format that it's presented in, I can't remember what it's called at the moment, but that way it's designed in a way where people can see most of the slides that you have in there. So I hope this was helpful. It was very simple. It's not too hard of a concept to learn, but it's very helpful because it's going to be able to allow you to, again, reach a good amount of people. What's really fun, Instagram lets you put music to it. So you can choose a trending song that fits, that catches people's attention. If you have a really good picture on the front, it might stop them, might stop their scroll, and then they'll be able to go through and see that information. And then they get to continue to look at all the images. And so even if they don't care that much about it, they see it and they'll go through them. Maybe they don't stay too long, but they still have stayed longer on your profile because they scrolled through all the pictures because they wanted to see it. So I hope that's helpful. If you have any other questions about the carousels, please comment below and I will do my best to help you. And you can look at my Instagram at steph.book on Instagram to see some of my carousels. I'll probably post that once I fix it, that low glycemic one here in a little bit, so you can see that. And I have other carousel posts as well that you can check out. If you are completely lost and thought, I need some help with this content, or I don't know what you're talking about for branding and all those different things, just reach out. I would love to be able to walk you through it. I have lots of different resources that I have created to help you, lots of free items that I can give you, and there's opportunities to work with me with coaching or programs so that I can walk you through what you would like to learn in your business. So friends, I hope that this is encouraging to you and helpful to you, and until next time, have a great day. Take care.